Hi there. I am going to wait here for a little bit, see if anyone comes on. Not going to be on for too terribly long. Kind of chilling on the sale. I just got done watching the sermon from Shofar Mountain, the most recent one that Pastor Joe put out. It's not necessarily what I'm here to talk about, but I say watch. I listened because I take cell and stick it in my pocket. But Soylent Pepsie. That's what the title of this is. And I'll give it another minute or two, and I'll get into that. But hope y'all had a good weekend. I get to go back to work. For those of y'all who've been following me, I'm very happy about that. I get to go back to work next week, which is good because there for a little bit we weren't sure if the boss was going to open the place back up, and so I'm happy about that one. Says I've got one guy watching, which I'm wondering if it's me, like, because I have a cell. I'm wondering if it's reading that I'm, saying that I'm watching. But if that's not the case, then well, okay, no, it's just one person. Because it's gone. See, this is what I do. I drive people away, right? All right. So I'm going to get into this whole Soylent Pepsie title. I was shared a video yesterday evening about the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. So I was shared this video, and the guy was talking about possible dangers and just a whole big laundry list of things. Well, so I send it to a buddy of mine. We went to high school together, and we're in the Navy. Not together, but we were both in the Navy. There's a funny story about that, actually, but if we've got time, we'll get into it. But I asked, I shared it to him, and he says, yeah, the vaccines, there's, he mentioned, which I don't know that this is true. I haven't really done that research. He said that there have been deaths and, bad reactions in the UK and Australia from the vax, which is entirely possible, but not something that I directly know. I haven't done that research yet. And I said, well, safety aside, my big concern is, do they use fetal stem cells from aborted babies? I'm very, very much so against that. Whether it be in the testing phase or actually in the serum, which I know that there are, some of the vaccines use it in the testing phase. Some use it in that, and it's actually part of the ingredients, and some do not. And I am more willing to look at taking a vaccine that does not have that, because there's absolutely no way I'm taking a vaccine that has been made from abortion. And there's no way. I probably have taken those vaccines in the past, but I didn't know about them, or I had no control. But the dog has decided to come over here to the computer and pester the cat because they said, why not? Hey, both of you, knock it off. Knock it off. Jill. You've had all morning to run around and frolic. Okay, so he said, after I mentioned that, he said, shoot, man, they use it in Pepsi. And I was like, really? They use aborted fetal tissue in Pepsi. And so I do what I usually do when I'm confronted with something like that. And I take to the internet and begin the search. And what I have found is, and I'll see if there's an article that I found, and I did a lot more research than just this one article. And the long and short of it is that, well, this article that I read stated that Pepsi, Kraft Foods, and Nestle, all three companies, use artificial flavorings made by a company, I think it's called Syntex, or Syntex. And it is made it's a California-based company, and they use kidney cells from an aborted baby that was aborted back in the 70s, and which is where a lot of the vaccines, their stuff, they're tested. It's a vaccine. They're testing on cells that were taken, and they just kind of kept the cells alive and gotten them to replicate in petri dishes, things like that. And I'm not a scientist, so I don't know all the specifics, right? But basically, it was they took the kidney cells, or the stem cells from the kidney of the baby back in the 70s after she was killed. And Pepsi, Kraft, and Nestle, according to the article that I read, all three used artificial flavorings that this was in. Now, Pepsi, this was back in 2010 that this organization came out against them. And it was, the list was very extensive, like pretty much every Pepsi product, even Aquafina, which how in the world Aquafina would be involved? Like, it's water, but it was in that list, and basically how these cells come into play is the scientists at this lab were using the cells to act as taste bud cells, and they were using it to make artificial flavors that tasted better. Like, there was no actual baby parts in the beverages and stuff themselves, or the foods That was not the case, but they were using this aborted fetal tissue to make and create and invent these artificial flavors. And so that is where that comes from. Now, that was back in 2010 that it was discovered by this big pro-life group, and they started a boycott, which I was completely unaware of. And dog, you keep shaking, don't rock the boat, okay? I was completely unaware of this back, this was a thing back in 2010, and around 2011, Pepsi came out and said that they are not doing that anymore. That all the artificial flavors that were tested with that, they're not using them. They're not using artificial flavors that were made by testing on aborted fetal tissue. That's Pepsi's statement, and I checked that on several websites, several news sites, and not all of them were bastions of liberalism, or there was a mix of the different sites that I found this on. I have not searched Kraft Foods, and I have not searched Nestle to find out the origins of, if they followed suit with Pepsi. And here's the thing, like, they could have used stem cells from a lot of different sources, that weren't controversial like that. Why do they choose to use these cells that they've had since the 70s? Like, why do they choose to do that? Like there are methods that they can get these stem cells from a human, like, that's alive, an adult human. Like, why would you do that? Why would you need to do that? And the fact of the matter is, they don't need to, but they do. So, wherever you stand on this debate, I mean, I don't make any bones about where I'm standing, and if that offends you, and if you disagree, if that offends you, so be it. And if you disagree with me, then again, so be it. But this is where I'm staking that. I'm taking that stand. But yeah, as of now, based on what I can find, Pepsi no longer does that. I don't know yet about Kraft Foods or Nestle. And it was in Nestle's, their ketchup, their coffee creamers, several other items that were owned by Nestle, and products that were owned by Nestle that had artificial flavors that were made using aborted fetal stem cells. And I read some of, like, the Facebook fact checkers, like the Snopes and PolitiFact, and like these real bastions of conservatism, right? And I read some of their articles, and they were trying to make it seem like there's no credibility to these claims, but what they're claiming is being claimed. They are claiming that we are claiming that there's baby parts in your Coca-Cola or in your Mountain Dew, which is not what's being claimed, and that's not what was true. Like, that was not a thing. But they ended up, like, in a very roundabout way, very, very difficult to read, admitted that, yeah, they use and I can't remember the scientific. It's like HYR or HRY 249 or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly. Let me give me a sec. I'll look it up. Which no one's on here anyway, so you guys have a sec. Oh my goodness. Dog, what are you doing, huh? Says that that's what it was. HEK 293. That is the name, the scientific number, or category that they've given for this particular cell line that was derived from a human embryonic kidney. And it's the company that is making these flavors is Cinemix, SENOMYX. But but yeah, so that's a thing. And the dog feels the need to have all of the attention. But there's another thing that people don't know is some at least some of your beauty products. See a dog's tail? There's a dog's tail. But some of like the beauty products like vanishing cream and things like that are actually made using tissue derived from aborted fetus. And that was a big thing when before I was born, my mom sold Mary Kay as an extra. Like dad worked construction, mom sold Mary Kay and cleaned a couple houses. And that's that's how they scrape by. But my mom, she sold the Mary Kay, and then one of the big things with her, why she was dealing with that particular company, and I'm not specifically endorsing this company, just that she used to sell it. So, but one of the big things with it, and it was at least at the time a Christian-based company. I don't know about now. I haven't done research recently, but they were a Christian-founded based company, and none of their products were made using aborted fetal cells or aborted dead babies. Okay, let's just call it what it is. They're dead babies. And so that was a big draw with her. So that's just something. And I thought it was an interesting find. I went down that rabbit hole way too late last night. It's like I went way down that rabbit hole last night, so it was interesting. But like I said, I have not researched and found any recent information on Kraft or on Nestle. But it's something that's interesting. Something that is interesting to find out. And basically, what I am coming to see and coming to the conclusion that the best way to be, and I've had this belief for a good long while, but I haven't necessarily known it, I haven't done it because of this, but the farther away you can get from processed foods, the better off you're going to be. The more processed it is, the more chance that somebody put something in there that shouldn't be in food. And so the best way to be is to grow and produce as much of your own food as possible. That would be to include, are you coming up here, cat, or not? You getting here? Huh? You want to be on television? Or the internet? You want to be on the internet, cat? She says no. Says, don't look at me, I'm fat. But I got my head, forgot where I lost my train of thought. But the big thing is, the farther away that you can get away from the system in producing your own food, the better. I doubt, since I'm going back to work, I doubt I'll get a chance to hunt before January. There's another little season that's during the week, I believe. Like the very last few days of 2020, there's a doe only. And then West Virginia has, they call it the Mountaineer Heritage Hunt. And it's like, I think it starts January 14th. And the basics of that one is you can kill one deer of any sex and one bear. If a person wanted to kill a bear, they could kill a bear. But I'm not interested in the bear. Although if I saw one, I'd shoot and do something with it. I'm not going to eat it, but I would, maybe get a bearskin rug or something. But and the meat wouldn't go to waste, so don't be crying about that. But I would, wouldn't eat it, but maybe some free range organic dog food or something. But anyway, the Mountaineer Heritage Hunt is you can kill one deer, one bear with any side lock muzzle loader, either percussion cap or flintlock, and so your old style muzzle loaders, right? Any of those, either a rifle or a pistol. It has to be a side lock though. You can't take one of the rotating, like a revolver that's a loose ball and powder. You can't do that. It has to be like the old school flintlock pistols. So you can take one with those, or a recurve or longbow. So it's more of a fun hunt for me at this point. It would, if I hadn't killed the amount that we needed, then I would, or the amount that I'm thinking that we're going to need, then I would, be hunting it for meat. But if I kill one, then, or if I kill another one, it'll be extra, and it'll be also some stuff to have a little bit, playing around with, making jerky, things like that. But I'm looking forward to that one. That hunt. How did I get on that topic? I honestly don't remember. No, I think I beat the dead horse on Soylent Pepsi, or I should say like Soylent Nestle or Soylent Craft. But I may do some muzzleloader shooting videos at some point. Because muzzleloaders are fun. I like my semi-automatics. I like my bolt actions and my lever actions, and I like all the different guns. But and there's and the muzzleloader in the modern day. I mean, there's what's the word? Your muzzleloaders, they're not like a military grade firearm anymore. I'm not if I have to defend my freedom or my house, I'm not grabbing, the muzzleloader. Oh yeah, but black powder it's a blast to shoot. I shot black powder for the first time when I was maybe 14. I think I was like 14 years old, and I went to a 4-H camp. And it was a horse camp. So we all, everybody took horses, and it was where you went to the fairgrounds and you, what's the word? You learned your horses and all of that, and how to, different, it was a way to improve, because I'd been riding for several years at that point, but it was a way to improve and get you ready to compete in the shows during the actual county fair. But one of the things that they did, like extracurricular kind of stuff, was some of us got to go, and basically that whole week, for a couple hours every day, we got to go shoot muzzleloaders. Learned how to measure the powder out and all of that stuff. But I haven't. What's the word? Haven't shot muzzleloaders in a good while, and I mean I've got one, but it's been tucked away. But for that heritage hunt, I'm going to be using it. And then I tell you, I would be leery of just going out with a muzzleloader and shooting a black bear. I would. I want that follow-up shot in case he gets pissed. Which why I carry in the woods, carry a pistol on me, and usually I got not necessarily this one, but I've got a big old knife on me. Yeah, I hear you. But I wasn't able to catch the last one whatever one it was that you had. But I caught it after the fact. But that's the problem. Like I'll watch like I'll watch the live streams, but I don't ever catch them when they're actually happening. um, I hear you. I mean, I enjoy it. Although I have in the past tried to get on like SOS survival or step one survival, whatever. Yeah, yeah. But I have been on his chats, but I have such a hard time keeping up. Um, I am not that good at typing. And then yeah, um, but yeah, I've tried to get on. I've been on SOS's chats a few times, but again, that's well, I have a hard time keeping up, and uh, now that I've got a working computer that I've been on these, you know, been able to get on here and do these live streams. Um, yeah, I need to start getting on to one or two every now and again. But again, I uh, I don't catch them all the time. So, or I'll, excuse me, like Bear Independent. Like I watch his some of his live streams and his like daily brief stuff, but I catch it after the first or after it's done. It's I can't I cannot keep up with the chat on some of them. Uh, it's um, oh, it's insane. Like it is absolutely insane. Well, when you've got over 105,000 um, subscribers, that I'd say that definitely plays a plays a role in the matter. um, but but yeah, so I'm what's the word? But I am like, and I have a hard time when I've got more than like two or three people on here on the chat. Like I've got a hard time keeping track of that much just talking. Um, you say you had 64. Uh, I could imagine. I could. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to. Oh mercy. Yeah, try and make it. I'm gonna Get a drink. Yeah, well, might as well get some more coffee. Oh, there we go. You were not recording this, huh? That's okay. I had well, something for breakfast, which was probably hot sauce. Decided it wanted to make a recurring appearance, but I think we'll make her. Yeah, I had to get up middle of I think it was my last live stream I did. I had to get up in the middle of it because the dog was barking at coyotes. I don't remember if you were on there. I think CR, Creative Redundancy, and then Caribou. Caribou Country Outdoors, I think is the other one. They were they were on there. I had to get up in the middle of it all. But yeah, I get the and now after all of that, I forgot what I was in the middle of talking about. Here's a question for you. Because I was talking about the black powder with the West Virginia has what's called the Mountain Air Heritage Hunt, which is a traditional black powder firearms. So the like flintlock and the percussion that are side locked. It's that recurve or a compound or not compound recurve or a longbow hunt. Does Texas have anything like that? I'm just out of curiosity. But found this knife here recently. I've had it for years, but it's been tucked away. When I okay, yeah, we have a lot of different seasons. Like this year, there were like 3 or 4 different um, doe only seasons, and then there was 2 weeks of buck or doe with a rifle, and then back in like October started bow season, and bow season I think it ends on the 31st of December, and then we've got like several regular just doe seasons, and then the heritage hunt, which is that's pretty neat. There's also like a week of muzzleloader, which you can use modern black powder that has that's the inline, and you can have that one with a you can have a scope on that one. The heritage hunt, you can't have a scope on the rifle or any kind of optic. It just has to be regular iron sights. But now, yeah. Now our bow and crossbow season, I mean, that's together. For us, there's no specific crossbow season. There's bow season, and you can use either any kind of bow, crossbow or otherwise. Um, and then there's squirrel season, which I don't really partake in, although I've thought about going out and killing a bunch of squirrels for use as dog food. Okay, yeah, it used to be like that here, with crossbow being only for like the disabled, but and you had to have like a special tag to hunt with crossbow, and then I want to say like 5-7 years ago they got it open till anybody could use a crossbow, which I'm all for. It's not like people said, well, oh, it's an unfair advantage. Um, more of an unfair advantage than a rifle. And it's like the only people that were really stopping it were, one, your anti-hunters that are just going to vote for anything that isn't hunting. They're going to vote against anything hunting related, and then the West Virginia Bow Hunters Association that were worried that some guy with a crossbow was going to kill a big buck that they wanted. That's just kind of what that amounts to. But I don't own a crossbow, but it's I'm not against them. There's a lot of things that I want, but whether I'm going to have them or not, it's another thing. A B-17, yep. Hey, a catapult, that'd be awesome. And you know what'd be real awesome? A top of the stairs mounted cannon, like a swivel cannon. You could load up with like nails and glass and stuff like that, like a blunderbuss. That's what I want. That way, someone tries to come up my steps, boom. uh, but yeah, catapults. I don't know why that made me think of the catapults, the Monty Python and the Holy Grail scene where the Frenchmen are just like chucking cows and stuff at him. Yeah, all righty. You have a good one, and your wife is welcome for you now having another item to put on the list at once. Have a good one. I'm probably gonna get off of here too. I've got to go get moving. But But no, that would be quite interesting to have that blunderbuss mounted on the wall. But alrighty, y'all. Anybody who's watching this in the after the fact, I'm gonna get out of here and get something done. Have a good one, y'all. God bless.